Hi and welcome back. So in this part we just finished off the sink and the bench there, and before we start working, I was going to actually work on some chrome sort of um, hardware to sort of hold that to the wall. But while we're doing the sink and the sort of the procedures to make that, we'll do the same with the bath and get the bath done as well. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to work in the room block at the moment, because let's have a look around here, see what we've got. We've got basically this piece here and this piece here. We'll grab that as well. We'll grab that. Okay, so this is basically the bath as we know it. It doesn't look very exciting at the moment, so we'll just copy that, and we're going to add a new layer. We're going to add a new mesh layer here. I'm just going to call this bath. And I'm just going to paste that. I'm just going to paste that in there for now. We'll leave the room block. Actually, we can. It's in situ, it's not going anywhere, so what we'll do, we'll grab those polys there. I'm just going to hit delete, because I've got the bath there. Basically, ultimately, me doing this sink and the bath and the table and things, we're sort of subtracting geometry from this room block into other layers. But then once they're all on, you can see it's still in its same place. Just so ultimately when we get to the end, we'll have just the walls pretty much and the floor left in here, and that'll make the texturing and the surfacing of the actual room itself that much easier. So we're going to work on the there's no base poly at the moment for the bath, and we shouldn't need one, so we're going to do the same procedure as we did with the sink. So at the moment, if we just hit the tab key, so we're going to get this lozenge type shape once again. So I'm just going to select those polys there. We're just going to shift D a few times just to give us some better starting geometry, basically nothing more than that. And then we'll do the same again. We're going to double click on the edge, and then we'll double click on these edges while we're at it, while we're here. And we're just going to basically go around, and we're going to select all this edge geometry, just so we've got it all there. Now this needs to be quite square, even though this would be sitting in this stone base, so we can ignore the sort of fact that it should be square for now, because when you buy it from the shop, nothing is square in the real world, so this bath will have some sort of curvature on the edges. So we're just hit the B key, we're going to bevel it, and I'm going to bring it in a wee bit, nothing too drastic, and I'm just going to add the one rounding level there. We're just going to go over to the tab key and just change it into sub Ds and just have a look. Now let's just go over to a side view just so we can get a better idea. Now I think that's good for our purpose. We're going to need to drop it down a bit, because we haven't got no underneath geometry. You know, we haven't got a base poly to contend with. So what we can actually do, we'll undo that, and I'm just gonna turn off, unselect these four pieces around the bottom there. Same with this edge here, because we haven't got a base poly to mess up the smoothing. So we're just gonna do this again. We'll put it quite prominent. Okay, now let's go over to a side view now and just look at these corners basically. Let's just see. Now I actually want this one quite square, even curvy, even though the sink ultimately was quite box-like. I don't really think you'll ever get a bath quite like this, because if you imagine sitting in this, you want this sort of porcelain or marble, whatever it is, to basically sort of fit around your back. So we're not going to get this sort of a situation, I don't believe, in the real world. So we may even be able to, we'll just do a test on this one side for now. We'll grab that edge there. I'm just going to bring it back a bit. We're going to go into sub Ds now and just grab these four, and we'll just hit the B key. I'm just going to drop them down. I'm just going to hit tab, and let's just see the shape we're making. Now, I think that's a better shape to sit in than this. So I'm quite happy to see how that sort of turned out. So what we'll do, we'll grab this edge, this end, we'll double click on it here, and I'm going to hit the R key, the W key. I'm just going to bring that back. Let's go over to a top view just so we can get these. This is I'm only eyeballing this, we're not, it's not rocket science really. And I'm going to grab this edge here and I'm going to eyeball this, just so that's almost a square up there. Okay, we'll go back over to a perspective view. Let's grab these polys and we'll do another test now. Hit the B key, click in the viewport, and I'm going to drag this down basically as far as the bath would be. And we're going to hit the tab key just to turn it into sub Ds. Okay, so I'm liking this curve around here. I'm thinking the bottom could be a wee bit flatter than it is. Okay, so we'll undo my bevel. So we'll sort that out next. So we're going to hit the B key. I'm going to click in there. I'm going to drop it down. But also I'm going to scale it in a bit. Okay. We'll drop a bit more like that. I'm going to shift click. I'm going to drop it down a wee bit. I'm going to scale it in a bit more. See, basically this geometry you're giving it here is the sort of the crux of the actual final shape. So we're going to shift click again. I'm going to go down a wee bit more. Okay, then I'm going to shift click, and ultimately at the end here I'm going to put a little bit in like that, and we'll just tab this now and see. Okay, it's getting better. It's flat along the bottom. Now we're getting this sort of sloping at the sides here, which I'm not overly happy with either. So we'll hit the B key and we'll have another crack at it. So what I want to do ultimately now then is hit the B key. I'm going to drag it down like that. Well, spacebar, drop the tool, because before we were scaling in, but this was making this area here, these four polys, if you can imagine these four here, that was making them smaller. But actually I only want them smaller in this sort of x-axis. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go with edges. I'm going to select them to there. I'm going to select them to there. I'm going to hit the R key and I'm going to scale those ones in, but I'm not actually going to affect these sides at all. So I'm going to now go to polys. I'm going to select them. I'm going to hit the B key. Now I'm going to click and I'm going to just bring it down a wee bit, and that will just keep these edges sharp here. If not, we are going to get some problems. So I'm going to bring them across like that, and we'll hit shift. I'm going to bring them in a bit more. Okay, and then shift and click again. Okay, we'll try that now. And this is the actual Yeah, this is better. This is far better. So we've got a nice piece for your back here, but the base is quite flat, so there's plenty of room in there. Okay, another issue I just don't quite like is the fact that this top curve is sort of sunken down. I almost want this top quite flat, like the sink, but curvy. Okay, so what we're going to try and do, we're going to try and add a bit more information here. So what we'll try and do first, and this is always a good thing when you're doing this sort of modelling with sub-Ds, is just to basically grab the edge you're not quite happy with, and then bevel it. We'll just do it as a test and just see. We'll see how it comes out. We'll just bevel it like that. See, straight away this has made this flat, but it's made a few issues around there. So that's not ideal for what we want. So next we'll do the polys. We'll grab all these polys inside here. We'll do Alt C to do a loop slice. We'll click in the viewport. We'll do one count because we only want to add one in here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave it on 3. I'm just going to move it near the top. We'll try about there. Then we'll hit Tab. And sorry, the Tab and the caps lock is very close together. So this is actually we're getting there. We're getting to the final. This is flat around the top. That's a nice bit for your back. It's not scaling in at the edges, and it's got a nice flat bottom. So I'm saying I'm not going to tweak that anymore. So we'll leave that as it is. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is the taps are going to be on this wall here. So I might as well add the overflow in this central point as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the same again. I'm going to go around here, select all these polys, make sure we haven't got that top one selected. Control key, by the way, to unselect. Alt C, just click in the viewport. We want 2 this time. And this is exactly the same as we did with the sink. So I'm just going to bring these 2 up like that. Just hit the tab key, just check, make sure we're not doing any erroneous damage. Edges, select the edge loop around the middle there. We'll hit the B key just to bevel that out, and that'll just turn that into 2. Just like that. So now we've got basically 4 polys here we can turn into a plug hole, sort of an overflow type situation. In fact, this edge, I might move that up a bit. So what I want to do now, this is something different we're doing. Basically, I want to move this up because I don't think these polys are quite deep enough here to make a big enough overflow. But if I just hit W, and we'll go over to this corner, you'll see what will happen. When you move it up, it's actually going to affect the geometry, because we're just basically taking this edge, these edges, and just sort of lifting them vertically. But actually what we want to do, we want to basically slide them along this edge. So basically as I lift them up, it sort of scales them out as well. So what we can do, we can basically select them all, make sure that's selected. Then we'll go over to edges here. And then what we can do, we can click on slide. And if we turn duplicate off, when we click in the viewport there, we can just sort of basically slide them up. And if you've got duplicate selected, that will basically make a new edge and leave the old edge where it was. So that's good if you need to make new edges. Okay, so that's a bit more square. So we'll take that there, and we're going to hit the same again as we've done before. We're going to hit the B key. We're going to just bring it in a little bit, shift, click, bring it in a little bit, shift, click, take it back. We'll take this one back because the camera's going to be quite flat, so you may see in here. So we'll bring it back as far as we can, really. Okay, shift, click, bring it in, shift, click, scale it down, shift, click. Okay, drop tool. Now if we hit tab key, so there's our little overflow. Okay. The plug we'll put straight in the middle as well. It's one of these contemporary baths. And if you ever have to justify it to yourself where you've put the plug instead of up here, then just say it's one of them contemporary type baths. You can move it up here if you want, you know, that's not an issue. And actually, in fact, if this was a real bath, these two would be sloped. So if the plug was in the middle, this would be a bit lower, and so that's not a problem if you want to do that. You can always just select these polys here, hit the W key, and just move them down a bit. And then if you put the plug in, then it would, you know, all the water would run towards the plug. So in fact, we'll do that just to keep everyone happy. And I'm gonna hit the B key and just bevel it out. So just so we've got basically a square. Okay, nothing's been changed drastically in the. I'm just going to select them. There's nothing underneath, so that's good. We'll do Shift A just to zoom in on the polys. We're going to hit the B key, click in the viewport, just scale it in a bit, maybe a bit more. Shift click, down a bit, Shift click, drop it down, Shift click, drop it down a little bit, Shift click, pull it in, spacebar, drop tool. Now we're going to put covers over these chrome covers and that, so okay, and there's our plug area there. Okay, so there's our bath done. It's in its own layer, so that's the end of this part. And when we come back, we'll work on this bath a bit more. So bye for now. Thanks for watching.